Buckle up for another episode of Ghostfacers, a supernatural rewatch podcast. My name is Richard, and sitting shotgun, as always, is my brother in podcasting, Reed.
It's okay, sweetie. Mommy's here.
Oh, hi, Mommy. I love you, Mommy.
Yeah, you know what I love about you is that you're not weak like your piece of shit brother.
Oh, my God. Yeah, fuck my brother. I love my mommy.
Listen, I'm just a hallucination, but I'm getting uncomfortable, actually, where this is going.
Yeah, let's bring out Satan's fist. I want to be your first.
Yeah, do you know what? You don't need to hallucinate anymore. I'm on the way out.
I'm stuck inside of the devil trap, Mommy.
Let's get into it.
Ghostfacers! We face a ghost, when others will not, we're ghosts! Ghostfacers! Stay in the kitchen when the kitchen gets hot! Ghostfacers! We face a nightmare, we face a dread! Ghostfacers! We face a faceless, we face a dead!
Welcome to Ghostfacers. Today we're discussing Season 4, Episode 21, When the Levee Breaks.
Yeah. Finally, the release for all that sexual tension.
Yeah, it's finally happening. We're finally going to make love.
Yeah.
From across the internet airwaves, because we're actually not in the same room for once. So if the
Croatoan virus is loose in my house.
Yes, that's true. Yeah, you finally caught the Croatoan virus.
Yeah, we got COVID-19.
Croatoan 19. Croatovid? Oh, that's it.
That was it.
Holy
there you go.
Shit. Yeah, we got there. This is the first time we've done this for Ghostfacers, I think. I don't think we've ever done a remote episode before.
Oh, is that true? Have we only ever done it for Dr. DC?
Yeah, because I only usually ever like let that happen for like the lesser podcasts. I really try to make sure it's only like in-person high quality stuff for this one.
Insane. We put so much more work into the other podcast.
And yeah, where's that gotten us? Nowhere.
I do want to just take a quick second, just off the top, to say that I feel like the gauntlet got thrown down on Twitter recently.
Oh, the thirst off?
A bunch of supernatural rewatch podcasts and blogs and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. It was thrown out by one of our listeners that we like, hey, add to that list of like people you're shouting out. Ghostfacers, they're the thirstiest guys out there. And then everyone was like, they're the thirstiest. And it means it's turned into this a very kind of fun, long Twitter thread of memes and like people being like, well, this is my tattoo of sexy Dean on a car. And we're like, oh, Jesus.
This is the artwork we have of Reed fucking Dean. So your move.
I was this close to releasing it. I've never been tempted except to win this particular argument. I was like, do I do it? I had to remind myself not to.
I did pull up the 1-star review of us just to really give us some oomph.
I saw that. That was
our 1-star review that told us that we were too thirsty, specifically about Dean. I was like, anybody else got a review like this? Come on.
But I did appreciate that. It seems to be a thing that unites a significant portion of the fandom.
Yeah, the thirst is strong with this show for sure. Well, speaking of fandom, someone's a fan of us because they give us 5-star review.
Hey, very nice.
I know, very nice.
Yeah, my review.
Yeah, I don't know if you've seen, but Netflix has this new show. It's like an interactive thing. It's a trivia thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so you can actually do like trivia with Netflix,
oh, interesting.
Which is really cool. And one of the questions was what country you took like a phrase from a movie to make it their tourism slogan, and the slogan was very nice. And
for Kazakhstan?
It's Kazakhstan.
Oh, that's amazing.
They took it, and Jessica was like, I can't believe they did that. I'm like, well, what else do they have?
Listen, that's kind of brilliant, actually. good for Kazakhstan. That's a way of having the joke not be on you.
I love it. I think it's great. But we got a 5-star review from Kim, who goes on to say,
From beyond the grave.
Oh.
Sorry, was that in poor taste?
Jesus.
Sorry, did I take it too far?
Man, we're not that kind of podcast. Jesus.
We are now.
All right. So Kim Manners sent us a 5-star review that was like, this podcast is great. Wish I wasn't dead.
Yeah. Also, they kind of lust after Dean too much.
Fuck you, Kim.
Jesus.
I'm glad you're dead.
Wow. If we're not the thirstiest podcast, we're definitely the most aggressive.
Hell yeah. Fuck yeah. No, not from Kim Manners. Kim goes on to say, Dear Reed and Richard, I love your podcast. You're hilarious and clearly love Supernatural. Thirst for Dean, always a plus. Hell yeah. I love your call out to Dirtbag Dean. It's great to see you love the character and are still able to objectively critique him. Yeah, critique every part of him. I think in 5 or 6 years, when you're done with Supernatural, you should do Smallville or Buffy. Ugh, not Buffy. I would love to hear your thoughts on those great shows. Every episode of Buffy. This show's great. Too bad the guy's a monster.
Yeah. The Smallville one would be tricky. Also, I think I'm like 90% sure there's probably already a Smallville rewatch podcast called Somebody Save Me, which is what I would want to call it.
I thought you were gonna say like, oh, but there's already a Smallville podcast, and I was like, yeah, because there's not a one for Supernatural.
No, we're the only Supernatural rewatch podcast.
Wait, are we not? Oh no.
Oh no.
They finished this review by saying, anyways, 5 stars, never stop podcasting. I mean, we can't, we'll die.
That is kind of true. It's the only thing keeping me going.
It's the only thing keeping the roof on this house, you know.
It's the only light in an otherwise dark life.
Oh no. This is starting to sound like your stand-up.
Which is starting to just sound like me.
Which is also starting to sound like a suicide note. You saw my stand-up. You had all the clues.
I told you, if I ever go for it, my note is just going to say it was Richard.
So not fair. I mean, sure, did I lead you to it? But that's not fair to blame it all on
They'll
me.
go back through the podcast and be like, yeah, this is definitely this guy's fault.
I thought it was going to happen with cats. But then I saw the artwork, and I knew there was only one other option.
That's right.
Thank you very much, Kim. We appreciate
it's a great review. Thank you.
We love a 5-star review. This episode, though, aired May 7th, 2009, written by the one and only, and soon-to-be executive producer in next season, Sarah Gamble.
Ooh.
That's right. And directed by Robert Singer. Bobby! The one and only.
He's back, baby.
That's right.
In more ways than one.
I mean, yeah. This episode was viewed by an estimated 2.79 million viewers. Which I get.
Is that still up or a bit down from last
I
week?
believe it's slightly up, but it's not. It's not by much if it is.
Yeah.
Here's the problem. I mean, you know
mean
what?
That soon? You mean the soon tag at the end of the last episode didn't work?
Here's the thing. Actually, I wonder because it might actually be down. Because I feel like we're towards the end of the of any season of any of their towards the end of all of their seasons. I bet they get a dip because it's like people who are coming in for like day-to-day sort of stuff. Like I like the Monster of the Week and stuff like that. Like I can't imagine that any of them are like.
It's more of the overarching thing. It's easier to get lost if you haven't been keeping up on it. I think there's also. I mean, it's hard for me to cast my mind back to the times, but Twitter and stuff was around at this point, at least. But like, there's also the thing, at least for me, which is like, if there's like a big episode or a finale and I miss it, I fully like avoid it
Sure.
And like I won't even jump into the next season or anything. And then I'm like, oh shit, like it's been a while. It's like, I gotta recap because I know it's the finale. I forget where we are. And then like that almost becomes like a barrier to jumping back on.
You want to know it's something that's weird? So I'm just looking. I mean, with a few exceptions, the entire season basically goes high review, lower review, higher review, lower review, slightly lower review, higher review, slightly higher, and then lower review. Higher review, lower review, higher review, lower review. Like the amount of like the like basically the numbers.
Oh,
like,
interesting.
Yeah. Like it's interesting, but yeah,
I'm
this is
curious
actually
if
down from last week.
Do our things? I wonder if they like line up with that a little bit.
Do people listen less to the ones that people watched less? That's interesting. I'm not sure. That yeah, I mean, I'd be curious, right? Like I do. Like I would say, in large part, I think the bulk of people that listen to this podcast go in and basically listen to everything. But there must be some.
Yeah, I would imagine. I would think.
But we also had a promo for this week, and you've watched it.
Yeah, it's there. It's a promo.
I actually don't think it's that bad. I think for this episode, it's another one that fits at least. I know. It's not very fun, and it's not like exciting.
I think for me, it's I know what you're saying. It's not like the wrong tone, but it is very like, I don't know. It's just bad.
I'd say it matches this
none of
episode.
the stuff that's the actual stakes seems like it's really in the promo. I know you don't want to give away the farmer or anything, but like even the Soon thing did a better job of being like, oh, they're gonna fight. Like
sure.
If you walk out, you're not coming back. So it's not like they were playing that close to the vest or something. They already put it out there, and like that's not really in this promo.
Sure, yeah, that's fair.
And that's a better sell for this. Is like, oh, is it gonna tear the brothers apart? You know,
it's true. I'd like to tear the brothers apart.
Easy. You come for the king, you best not miss.
You goddamn right.
Literally, if you come for the king, you best not miss.
Oh yeah, no, that's true. I would hate to like be just sitting there holding my dick in front of the king. That would be bad.
Yeah, with just a spot behind him.
Yeah. Oh God.
Gross.
Well, that was the promo. Let's talk about international titles.
All right, so this is When the Levee Breaks,
which is a song by Led Zeppelin.
I mean, there are levees in other parts of the world.
Yeah.
Does that affect anything?
I would say large part everybody got it basically like right on. Yes. Brazil came in and was like, I don't know what a levee is. So
okay.
So Brazil called it When the Dam Breaks.
Sure. Right.
The basic idea. Same thing.
Same principle, yeah.
But Hungary was like, fuck this. I don't care what a levee is.
Yeah.
And Hungary went hard.
Did they call it Hungry Samos?
They're naming it after themselves?
Hungary
yeah. No. It's a bit more esoteric, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah, it would make such a great metal song.
All right.
The Hungarian title for this week is The Path of Devastation.
Holy shit. Wow. Hungary, you're back, baby. That's the shit we want from
this
you.
week. Hungary called it Demons. No.
Demons 2.
Yeah, every country gets one. Once a season, one country has to call an episode Demons.
I mean, The Path of Devastation.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. That's a great title. It probably works better with a different episode, but
I don't care. I'm gonna get that as a lower back tattoo.
The Path of Devastation. With an arrow?
Yeah. Yeah, an arrow pointing up, it says the man, and then the arrow that pointing down says the Path of Devastation.
Hey, merch for the merch store.
Yeah, if anybody wants that.
if you want a variation of the man, the myth, the legend, we're just as the man, the path of devastation.
I can put that on either the front or the back. It's up to you, or both. Who knows?
I like it. I think it's good.
So yeah, that is the international titles this week.
Amazing.
There is no featured music this week. Just some sweet soundtrack. And the TV guide describes this episode as Sam is locked inside Bobby's panic room to allow him to detox from demon blood. But Bobby wants to free him early to help fight the anticipated apocalypse. Dean disagrees and seeks help from Castiel.
Yeah, baby.
Oh my God, does he ever? I can't wait to talk about this episode. But before we do, it's time to open up Dad's journal and learn about some of the real world lore.
Let's see what the lore says about blood consumption.
Whoa, yeah, let's have a blood orgy.
I was this close to being like, do I just do it about detoxing? I was like, no.
That's not fun.
That's dark. I can't. But you know what's not dark? Drinking blood.
Blood play.
Yeah. So blood consumption. So consuming blood is a surprisingly common practice across a number of cultures worldwide. There are some cultures that do it for food or sustenance. There are some that do it for like religious or ritual reasons.
Don't ask why I do it. It's there is no concern. It's mostly for show.
I love whatever this accent is.
They don't worry about it.
It's mostly for show.
It's mostly for show. Mostly.
I will say it isn't the quiet taste.
They don't call me the count because I'm good at math.
Why do they call you count?
Because
royalty.
I inherited
the title I have for county is inherits from my father.
Yes, or is it?
I love the idea that like count means drink blood.
Yeah.
It's either because you're good with numbers or you drink blood.
Yeah, obviously.
So there are some cultures that do it for food, some that do it for religious reasons. In food, blood is often used as like an ingredient. Although there are some cultures that just like drink blood.
Have you ever had blood pudding and like stuff like that?
Very kind of classic, famous example. I have had it. I think it's gross.
Or blood sausage.
Yeah. I think that's less gross.
Oh, okay. I've never had any blood thing.
So it's used as an ingredient either because it's like residual or like added to meat, or because it's used as like a thickening agent for sauces. There are some cultures that do like blood soup and things like that.
Good soup.
But good soup. So yeah, blood sausage, black pudding. There's some other kind of preparations of blood that I thought I would just list out that we may or may not have heard of.
Sure.
So there's from Scandinavia, there's a blodplättar, which are blood pancakes.
Oh.
There's blood tofu in China, which might be made from pig blood or from duck blood.
I guess it's not like vegetarian at that point.
No, but I think it's more to describe its like consistency. I think that's what is why they call it that. But no, it's definitely not vegetarian. You were like scratching your head like, is blood vegan?
Well, because I'm like tofu. I'm like, God, that's a really like false sale of goods. If someone came into a place and was like, I'd like to, blood tofu.
I mean, it would be if it didn't have the word blood right in front of it.
But then they're followed by tofu, which is, it's.
Yeah, it's one of those like soy-based animals.
We drained a soy boy.
We cut this orange's throat. So in Hungary, we love Hungary. If there's a tradition where if you slaughter a pig like freshly in the morning, you might take some of that pig blood and fry your onions and have that for breakfast.
Weird. I wonder like what the like what? I always just assume blood tastes like blood. Like I get maybe it like different animals taste different.
Well, I mean, the thing too is, especially with these cultures, you're probably adding your spices, your stuff like that to
It's
it.
a stone soup situation. It's really not about the blood anymore.
Well, I think that's probably part of it. Yeah, let's see. Here's one that I just wanted to share because of the linguistics of it. In Romania, there's a blood sausage that's called sangrete, which means a thing from hemorrhagey, which just means like the word means like this was made from something hemorrhaging.
Oh God. All right.
Yeah, pretty wild. But yeah, like all over the world, there are examples of this. There are some cultures that consume just the blood as well without like preparation necessarily. So the Inuit consume seal blood, believe that it has some kind of healing effects. The Maasai in Africa drink cow blood as part of their traditional diet. I mean, blood is on a very reductive level, it's just protein and water, right? It's in some cases referred to as liquid meat, although that is slightly off-putting to me.
Sure.
And consuming it in small quantities, like what you would have in a blood sausage or stuff like that, is fine. But having too much of it can have adverse effects.
But if it was like
it might
making
make you into a Dracula.
But if it was like making like ground beef look like extra really red or something, like that would be really tasty though, right?
I'm right about this.
Said every person who like fervently defends something like that, yeah.
Yeah. History will prove me right.
Ground beef hate is Nuremberg.
Oh no. I don't think I want to put these two.
That's what you said, man. I don't know. Uncool, dude.
Oh. Just wait till we get to the sandwich segment.
Oh my God. I don't think there will be one this week.
I'll be the judge of that.
That's that moment you see where Bobby and Sam and Dean are in one room. There's a sandwich I'd like to eat.
Ooh. So yeah, there are religious consumptions of blood. In Catholicism, part of the sacrament is that you drink the blood of Christ. Now, obviously, they've subbed that out. It's either wine or something, I guess, non-alcoholic, because presumably you can't serve that to minors. I'm not sure what they actually use. Just grape juice? It's got to be classier than that, right? Do you know?
I honestly don't know. I
could have looked it up.
I assumed it's just grape juice, but
that'd be really funny. Like it's like a community theater production of Church. We just use grape juice. Consuming blood is forbidden in Islam and Greek Orthodox and some other religions and things like that. We're going to change tack here. There's a condition in clinical psychology known as Renfield Syndrome, named for Renfield, the kind of familiar / lackey of Count Dracula. And Renfield Syndrome describes an obsession with drinking blood. So it's more than just enjoying it or doing it culturally or anything like that. It's about like I need to drink blood, and I imagine that covers all manner of sins, from just like maybe the gluttony of drinking blood to possibly also like there's a sort of psychosexual element to vampirism, and that there's definitely like vampirism as kink and stuff like that. And
sure.
Which is out there, and if you're consenting adults, it's all good. But I think, when it crosses over into the unhealthy obsession territory, they start psychologists start referring to you as Renfield, which is kind of fucked up when you think about it. Ingesting too much blood can result in something called hemochromatosis, which means basically that there's too much iron in your body. It starts saturating your skin, your liver, your pancreas. It can affect a bunch of organs. It's very bad.
But then you get to be on the Avengers.
Yeah, that's what that means. Or it means when you go to bring Magneto his food in plastic prison, he rips it all out of you and escapes.
Jesus, that scene. Oh, Jesus. Yeah. It's scary.
That's in a PG-13 movie.
Yep.
Guy has his blood ripped out of him.
Ugh.
Yeah, so that's a thing that can happen. But also, like, animal blood can be full of bacteria and other things.
Yeah.
You know, again, having prepared things like sausage and stuff like that, or having small quantities like some of these other cultures do, you're generally fine. Your body can handle a certain amount of foreign bacteria. But if you're like drinking blood, like a lot of it, and it's just coming from like random animals and stuff like that, like your risk of infection goes like higher and higher and higher too. So that's it's potentially not good that way.
Could you send me that article?
No reason.
Don't asking for a friend.
I just wanted to bring up this website called Healthline. And there's a whole thing about, is drinking blood legal, which is clearly a question they've been asked. And they say, you know, consent is key in vampirism, of course, but having consenting blood donor doesn't mean the practice is legal.
That's why I say I want to suck your blood, not I'm going to suck your blood.
Yeah, I don't know, man. That's still you taking someone else's blood. I think that's a pretty flimsy argument.
I say I want. Did you see what they were wearing? Their neck was like totally available.
Hang on. I was going to say something here. We got to pause this.
Uh-oh.
Hashtag cancel Dracula.
No, not Dracula. I am the coolest.
Fucking get him, Twitter.
Oh, no. But I won't even come in unless you invite me. And I won't do anything once I'm in.
He's going to come back in 3 years with a comedy special called Triggered.
Defanged.
Good Lord. Yeah, so apparently, depending on where you live, there are states that like specifically criminally like forbid the drinking of blood. So Louisiana has a law on the book that prohibits, quote, ritualistic acts, which is just vague enough to mean if you're doing something not considered white.
Oh, yeah.
The state defines these as any practice with the intention to drink blood or eat animal waste.
Oh, so very specific type of thing.
I guess. Someone found in violation of the law could be imprisoned for up to 5 years or fined $5,000 or both. The U.S. Supreme Court held that animal sacrifices for religious purposes, which may include drinking blood, are constitutional, though, under the First Amendment's Religious Liberty Clause. So that doesn't mean people who practice ritualistic animal sacrifice are safe from state animal cruelty laws, but technically you're allowed to consume the blood.
I guess that'll have to do.
Yeah, so there you go. Blood consumption. That's the lore, baby.
Oh, I love this one. This is best episode.
Also, again, what is this accent?
Nothing you need to worry about. Look the other way.
Dracula by way of the Kremlin.
You can have Draculas in different places, all right? Counts are counts.
Yeah. And I wish to expand my county into bordering Ukraine.
Oh, no. Oh, no. That's not good. Well, blood consent.
Imposing sanctions on my blood sucking.
I've been defanged.
I'm so sorry.
That's very insensitive. The the Ghostfacers podcast is not held liable for the words that are said by Reed Vanier, and they're not the opinions of Ghostfacers podcast.
Hashtag cancel Reed.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. All right. Let's
help me with my comedy special.
Oh yeah, there you go. You need to start I theoretically there's probably a spot for us on Spotify.
Well, yeah, they just throw money at those people.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's get into today's episode. Some behind the scenes before we get into it, which I haven't been able to do in a while. The last part of the previous episode was meant to be at the beginning of this episode.
What, the Stoon thing?
The whole part of like tricking him into going into the the room and like
What
the whole
we
thing.
talked about this last week, and I was like, it would make the episode better because they could spend more time on the cast shit.
Yes.
Fuck.
It was not supposed to be on that episode. It was supposed to be in this one. So much
So what? Like they edited the episode. And they were like, "Fuck, we're 3 minutes short." And they had to like move stuff. Or how did that even happen?
No, I think they wanted to like amp things up for the final 2 episodes, and so that they were trying to like do like a pre to the pre, I guess, basically. Yeah.
Sure. Right. Like a cliffhanger of something.
Yeah, because I think the finale is such like kind of like a 2-parter, anyways. So I think they wanted to like give some like sort of like brevity to it, but yeah, like Sarah Gamble wrote that part and then was like that thing was taken away from her.
Oh shit, weird.
Yeah, so there you go. So let's start with the then, which is mostly just like all apocalypse and Sam's addiction. That's a great new band, Sam's Addiction.
Yeah, they're a cover band.
They do Jane's Addiction songs, but like change the words to be about supernatural.
Yeah, just dressed as Sam.
Yeah, I would. Yeah.
Oh my god. Next year at the big supernatural con, we should go as Sam's Addiction. We should.
Holy shit! I'll wear leather pants and like a flowy shirt.
Yeah.
Keep going, yeah, and like we can get out of like cars.
Yeah, it's me, Castiel Navarro.
Yeah. So that is the then. We go into the now, which is picking up directly from last week's episode, which is Dean and Bobby have locked Sam in Bobby's panic room in order to help him withdraw from the effects of the demon blood. He's detoxing.
Yeah. Yeah, I wanted to point this out because I was thinking about it while I was watching the episode. I like the idea that there's preparation of some description on Bobby's part for Sam being in there.
Mm-hmm.
Because like that room is pretty cleared out. The last time we saw it, it's like fully stocked. There's stuff in there. There's books and stuff like that. It totally makes sense. You don't want to have all your most valuable stuff in there with the person you can't go in with. However, I'm also picturing Dean is like, okay, I'll do my part and drive Sam. And Bobby's like, he's like dragging bookcases and shit out of by himself. All these books and shit.
God damn it.
Completely reorganize the room.
I mean, that's very funny. I like that a lot. Putting like towels underneath the legs of things so that he can pull them easier. And like,
Yeah.
Moving blankets.
Yeah. Calling Rufus to see if he'll help.
Yeah. I like it. So Sam is trying to convince Dean that he is fine and that they need to let him out. They're basically going back and forth, and he's trying to prove that he's like, this is ridiculous. This is a step too far. I'm fine. This is just what needs to happen.
I'm fine.
It's normal.
I'm fine.
Your dick is small, Dean.
That's why we locked you in here. Your dick's too small to take on Layla.
It's actually kind of cool in this scene. Like in like the commentary for this episode, Robert Singer specifically says like it's cool the way that they're lit. They're intentionally lit on either side of this door, as Sam is lit fully in red and Dean's lit fully in blue, and so they keep going back and forth and sort of like to show the sides of the situation, which is like who's bad and who's good in this situation, which I thought was a really cool kind of way. They also built this room with like the panic room has like a removable like top so that they can like do like cool camera movements. There's like so many cool camera movements in this. That's so. I think about Robert Singer is that he loves to be constantly moving the camera. It's a thing you'll notice in like basically all of his episodes, and he does some really cool stuff within a small space in this one.
Yeah, it looks great. And the thing that I think this episode does well too, and we'll talk about it as we're going, but you know, we're making fun of Sam being like, I'm fine. But like the thing this episode does well is there are moments where obviously he is not fine. And then there are moments where it's like, is he though? And if you're the person on the outside, it's the central conflict for Dean and Bobby is like, is he fine? Is this good what we're doing?
Oh, for sure. You know? Yeah.
We'll and I do think I think it's a very real thing, probably for those of you who have had to either hold interventions or have them held for you. It's probably like a very real thing, right? Where you go like, no, I'm fine, and you believe it, or maybe you don't. But it's that line of like, you kind of have to trust the people around you to make that call almost, right?
It was the thing that the entire writing staff had a conversation about, which was just like a long conversation about like addiction and detoxing and interventions. And like they had the whole team was sort of in on that discussion before they started writing this episode.
Yeah. I mean, it's a pretty big thing and you don't want to treat it poorly. I mean, obviously it has the added fictional layer of demonology.
Sure.
But you still want to, you know, if you're going to convey it, you know, in a way that feels respectful or whatever. So it's like, yeah, if you're kicking heroin, you're not going to get like flung against the wall or anything.
Well, yeah,
like
yeah,
that,
exactly.
But you still wanted to make it look real. Yeah,
for sure. But Dean refuses Sam and walks away. And that is the cold open for this episode.
Yeah. And it's a cold open.
Yeah. Oh my God. He feels nothing. I don't know.
And Dean feels everything.
Yeah, it's true. It's true though. Like even just while he's walking up the stairs, like just the small head movement, like he's so good at like subtly showing like the deep and like dramatic pain.
That's that Jensen thing, right? Little twitches, single man tear, like all of those little. He's so good at that stuff.
God, he's so good. He's just too pretty to be a character actor.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they should put him in a bunch of makeup and make him the Penguin.
It's true. I mean, that's really like, yeah. Come on.
Call me eyes.
I locked you up. I locked you. So we then come back to Sam, and he is starting to have hallucinations. His first one is of being tortured by Alistair.
Hey, I'm back, Sam. Just you and me, like the old days.
Oh dear.
I'm here too, Sam.
Oh my God. I did that. I was doing that for my wife the other day. She got so upset.
What, right wing Elmer Fudd?
I was not even just right wing, just being like kind of creepy as we were like, I was like dropping her off at work and I was just like, oh, I think you're great. Oh, I hope you have a great day at work.
I'll see you later.
Yeah, I'll see you for lunch. Maybe you'll be for lunch. She's just like, stop. I hate this. I'm like, what do you mean?
That's very funny. I want to come back to a thing we talked about the last time we talked about Alistair, which is
she literally just yelled out of the other room, stop that noise.
That's so funny. Amazing. Last time we talked about Alistair, we talked about how there's like a progression of his voice that it goes from like being a little bit like a Brando thing to being like fully like marbles in the cheeks, right?
Yeah.
Is it just you or does that continue in this episode? Like, is his voice even fucking crazier in this episode?
Yeah, I mean, now seeing more stuff with that actor, I'm kind of not that surprised though, because it seems like he goes hard and he goes as hard as possible all the time.
Yeah, because there's a real like,
Oh yeah, I'm gonna peel your skin. Oh.
But also, I mean, if you think about it as like it's Sam's like imagination version of him, maybe he's like upping it.
Yeah, that's true too. And who knows? I mean, that guy does seem like the kind of actor that would think of that layer.
Yeah, for sure. Because it's
like I wouldn't put it past him for that to be deliberate and not just us being, like kind and looking for a thing.
I totally could imagine that he'd be the type of guy to do that. But so as Sam is having this sort of like full torture sort of like hallucination.
Sorry. What do you think Alistair is cutting in this scene? Because we don't see where he's torturing.
He cuts his
Sam.
throat first.
He does not.
No, he cuts his own. He drags the like knife across his own throat first.
Alistair?
Yeah.
I missed that.
Oh.
But when he's like flaying or doing something to Sam, what do you think he's doing? Because he's sort of like in Sam's midsection. Do you think it's abs? Do you think it's thigh? Because we don't see it ever because it's a hallucination. At one point, I was pretty sure it was his dick.
Wow. I mean, yeah. I never really thought about it like that, but you sure have.
I was like 80% sure it was dick.
and I wanted a piece.
Me too.
Yeah, give me a little.
Me too, Alistair.
Cut me off a piece of that dark meat. It's always a couple shades darker.
Sorry. Go on.
So as this is happening, Bobby and Dean are discussing their plan of what, or they're really talking about like the pain of what they're doing at this point.
Yeah.
Like they don't feel good about this. They don't really like the way that like things have gone, and they're sort of like lamenting about like, is this even the right thing that they're doing? It's sort of a thing that they'll continue to keep doing. But we then go back to Sam, and he is visited by his 14-year-old self, who accuses him of abandoning his hope of being normal and brings up his guilt of Jess's death.
Yeah. It's an interesting moment, because the Alistair thing is like Sam thinks he's in the room, and he's like, that torture is like real to him. We get this shot of, Sam strapped down and everything, and then we get the other shot of Sam just holding himself in the same position and screaming and stuff. Like, that's a very real hallucination. Yeah. And then the next hallucination is like an obvious hallucination, which is, this is my younger self.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. It's less
like
of
a thing that could not happen, basically.
Yes. I mean, the 90% of them are things that could not happen. I think. Like,
I know, but what I'm saying is there's a mix, but I find it interesting that like there's this very real one with Alistair. There's a very real one with Dean later.
Sure.
But there's also a couple that are like inconceivable.
Yes.
And it's like, it's kind of interesting to watch Jared have to play like, well, this is obviously a hallucination. So if I'm engaging with it, it means I'm giving this doubt room to percolate. Or
sure.
Something.
Yeah. But I mean, that's
kind of interesting, and
that plays into like the insanity of it. I think, like,
yeah,
because he's both like believing what he's seeing and then not, and then like having to like question like what is reality and what isn't, which is, I think, interesting.
How do you feel about young Sam in this scene? Because I think I've liked this young Sam actor the last few times we've seen him. Mm-hmm. I don't think he's good in this scene.
Oh, I don't know. I think it's a weird thing.
I think it's because they're trying to make him too much like menace.
Yes.
And I don't think it's like physically playing and I don't know if that's just a matter of experience or something, but it feels like he doesn't have enough business, in the scene. And so he just kind of like, he says something, he takes a couple steps to the next mark. He says like, sure, it just feels very like wooden to me. I think actually Jared is great in this scene, but
Jared's performance kind of goes up and down throughout this whole episode for sure. I think like the longer it goes on, the less of quality that there is.
I agree.
I think like it starts out really strong and then just gets weaker and weaker and weaker. This moment specifically, I think is pretty decent. Yeah, I think he does a good job with that. All I kept thinking was, I'm like, if there was really like your like 13-year-old, 14-year-old self, it'd just be like, dude, look how fucking ripped you are. This is sweet. Like,
well, yeah. I mean, it's funny that your 14-year-old self shows up and goes like, we could have had it all. We could have gone to college. We could have.
Meanwhile, my 14-year-old self would be like, dude, like, you fucking look great. Like, how many like girls have you been with? Like, who cares about the one dead? Who cares about the one dead one? Like,
well, but that's how you know it's a hallucination as well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Fair. Yeah. That was the tell.
That was it. Not that your younger self showed up.
No, that makes sense. So meanwhile, while this is happening, Rufus calls Bobby with news of more of the 66 seals being broken.
Yeah, there's like 3 that all happened like overnight or whatever. One has to do with like kids going missing or something.
Yeah.
One is like a cattle thing or something. There's a bunch of shit happening. It's not good.
Apparently, like naming the different seals and stuff that had been broken was a big project for the like writing staff, because they kept coming up with like too weird of things, and Eric kept having to like, no, like that's just gonna like draw people's attention to it. Like you have to make it like less weird, where it's like all like nuns are eating their toes and stuff. Like they're just like, that's, come on.
Yeah, right. I mean, I don't know. I'd be down for that.
But
Directed by Quentin Tarantino.
yeah, well, oh God. Bobby is now challenging Dean about whether they are doing the right thing and whether they should let Sam go after Lilith and to stop the apocalypse.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Bobby even says, he's like, I hate myself for saying this, but we may be facing the biblical end of the world. Is now the right time to take our most powerful player off the board?
It's
and
true.
Dean, very rightly, is saying, I'm not losing my brother over this. This is my line. I will let the world burn to save
For sure.
Sam. And he has that line, and he's also right that like when someone needs help, they need help, and it's not about convenience, it's about when they need it.
True.
But Bobby has the more pragmatic, more ethically dubious, but not necessarily discountable opinion of, but like it could be everyone's life on the line.
It's true.
Like maybe the idea of like, we have to get used to the idea that maybe there is like a no-win scenario here.
It's a trolley car.
Someone has to sacrifice something, and maybe this is it.
Yeah, it's the trolley car. So still in Bobby's panic room, Sam now sees his mother, who says she understands what he is doing, gives him support, and tells him to not let Dean get in his way.
Well, yeah, it's interesting because it starts off and Sam's like, you're going to tell me I'm a disappointment, I'm a bad son, blah, 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 blah. She goes, of course not. And you go like, oh, mama. And then she goes, Dean's weak.
Yeah, Dean's the bad son.
You're like, oh, no, mama.
Yeah. You're my good boy. Sorry, am I starting to sound too much like that TikTok account you follow?
I don't follow them.
Just constantly in my feed. I don't know how it got there.
It follows me.
You're my good boy, Reed.
Mary Winchester.
What a smoke
Looking
show.
great. Looking great.
Also, different hair than she normally has.
Oh, yeah, I guess it is. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, great, but still.
Yeah, but it's a pretty like disturbing moment though, because at first you're like, oh, and then like this is like some of the good Sam in there, and you were like realize it's like this is not the good Sam. This is like,
yeah, well,
you know, she's like, you're doing the right thing. Dean's wrong. He's weak.
Yeah,
you're the only one that could do this, and you're like, oh fuck, no, demon hallucination, no.
Yeah,
it's fighting back. It's almost like it's fighting back, which is kind of like a thing you can ascribe to demon blood that you can't with like another addiction, right? Which is that there's some sort of level of like inherent malevolence. They talk about it elsewhere in this episode that like the stuff in him is evil.
Yeah,
right. It's not just that it's bad for him. It's not just that it's doing something to
it
him
itself is bad.
It's that it is inherently evil. It has like a will of its own in its own way.
For sure. And in the initial like version of the, like draft of the script, this speech was more of like fairly comforting to Sam, and they sort of like did a rewrite to be like, no, this is still a hallucination and demon blood. Like it needs to be more menacing than that. It needs to have more bite. This is when we cut to Dean, who's calling on Castiel.
He says, I've been screaming myself hoarse for 2.5 hours.
Yeah, and Castiel was like, yeah, I was just really enjoying it.
I gotta say, I know Dean is desperate, but like Dean is not a creature of patience. I have a hard time imagining that he's stuck it out for 2.5 hours of yelling at Cass.
Yeah, I know. That doesn't seem much like him. But he's desperate.
Especially after how Cass left him last time.
Well, that's true. Yeah, for sure. And Castiel tells Dean that Sam could possibly kill Lilith, but that consuming enough demon blood to do so would make Sam inhuman.
Yeah, he says it would like change him forever. Like it's not just like could we do the healing thing after? It's like no, like it would be too much and he'd be gone.
I'm going to need to hear a doctor's opinion on this.
Yeah, no, I mean it's pretty ominous. It's good, but there's also this moment too where like Dean is like, yeah, I've been like yelling for 2.5 hours, and Cass is like, what do you want? And Dean's like, what? That's it. And Cass goes like, I can't do this right now. And Dean I don't love how Dean phrases it, which is you got ass reamed in heaven, and then you,
Yeah.
which is like, I don't know, man. And then, but he goes like, and you've got nothing to say to me. And Cass just kind of gives him like a really kind of pleading look, and he goes, I can't talk, Dean, which is interesting because we almost get the impression the last time you saw Cass that maybe he is changed and like different because he's like, I don't fucking answer to you. Like, oh fuck, did they brainwash Cass or something? And in this scene, you're like, they did not, but he is like being cautious.
They're forcing
like,
him to
so
like communicate that way, I think.
Yeah, it's like it's way more like actually like unsettling. It's pretty surreptitious where he's like, listen, like I want to help you, but I really cannot.
Yeah, for sure. And Castiel says that Dean can be the one to stop the apocalypse rather than Sam. And Dean asks it, and then he asks if Dean will do it. Dean agrees and swears fealty and gives himself wholly to Castiel.
I mean, God, I wish.
I mean, the amount of fucking like stories that were like written after this scene, like Jesus. How much do you want to save your brother? You have to give yourself to me completely. But yeah, Dean fully is just like, look, I will do whatever heaven needs. Like, just let me be the one to do it. Like, and he like says the words.
Cass says the words like, we believe you are the one that can stop this.
Yeah.
The only question is whether you believe it.
Yeah.
Like whether you're willing to do it, whether you have the fortitude for it. And as soon as Dean says like, yes, I'll do it. And like Dean says like, yeah. And Cass is like, no, like repeat after me. And he like makes Dean like do like an oath.
So fucking hot.
Like, it's like, you're going to say exactly what I say when I say it.
Oh my God. Now get on your knees.
And pray.
But yeah, so Dean then talks to Bobby about his newly sworn allegiance, which Bobby doesn't understand at all.
Yeah, Bobby's like, I thought we hated angels. I thought they were dicks. And Dean's like, they are fucking dicks. Like, give me some credit. I don't trust them or anything.
I just trust Sam less. Yeah.
And Sam, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
And even Bobby's like, fine, fair.
But Bobby understands just as everything goes quiet, too quiet. They go down to the panic room and see Sam twitching on the floor. Dean suspects that Sam is faking it, thinking he'd do anything. But they soon realize that Sam isn't faking it when he is flung around the panic room by the demon blood. Something heroin does not do.
I mean, as far as I know.
Only one way to find out.
Oh, no.
Look, it's for science.
Subscribe to the Patreon?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Can we at least make it like a decent earning tier? I'm not doing it for $5.
Okay, $6.50.
Okay.
I just need one more subscriber, man.
Jesus. Good Lord. Yeah, no, it's pretty good effect though, too. I like the camera move in this scene. We're talking about camera moves and stuff, but the idea of like Sam, because it's a round room, so Sam like hit the wall, kind of rolling along the wall a bit. Like it looks good. I like the setup of the being flung around shot. I think it's good.
Yeah, it's awesome. And then Dean and Bobby have to handcuff him to the bed.
Well, yeah, Bobby puts his belt in Sam's mouth. Dean has to hold him down. I'm like, it's happening. It's happening.
They got my letters.
Yeah. I mean, you could make the argument that belt in Sam's mouth constitutes a sandwich.
Oh, that's a beef sandwich.
It's the Ghostfacer's sandwich corner. We're talking about a sandwich where the bread is teeth and the meat is leather.
I mean, it could just be the meat is leather. You don't need bread. I mean, it could be
bread
a paleo.
Is teeth. You don't need bread for a sandwich, you fucking idiot. This is why it's my segment.
It's a paleo sandwich.
Get the fuck out of here. Do you know what? No more sandwich segment. You've ruined it.
No, it's fine. Let's do the normal answer, which is the bread is teeth.
Yes, thank you.
So then how is he eating it with his gums?
Yeah. Who first did a tea?
Just a different podcast. Also, not from a podcast, from life.
Yeah, that's just me bringing a random joke in.
But after they leave, Sam starts to hallucinate again. And this is when we get Dean. Now, the clear sort of thing that you can tell that it's not actually Dean is his collar is suddenly popped.
Jacket's back too, baby.
Oh, yeah. He's got a pop.
We haven't seen
collar
that jacket in a while.
It's true, yeah. Also, apparently, a thing that was cut from the script, but the younger version, the 14-year-old version of himself, there was apparently a line that the shirt he was wearing is like from the like yearbook photo, and that's why that's yeah. But yeah, so Dean is taunting him and calling him a monster.
Yeah. I mean, it's partly taunting, but this is also one of those ones that feels a little less. I mean, we know it's a manipulation, but it feels less like an earnest fear of Sam's made manifest into a hallucination where he's like, Sam also knows this thing is wrong. He said it to Chuck. He said it, and like, so that it's almost like this thing of like, what if I do become a monster? What if I'm unrecognizable to my brother? What if I push him away by doing this thing that I feel I have to do because I think he's not strong enough because Mom said he wasn't?
Yeah.
Like I think there's more layers in this hallucination than there are in like the one with the younger him. Frankly, the one with the younger him is the one with the fewest layers. There's like not much going on there, really. The one with the mom is interesting because you think it's going to be comforting and then becomes this real like subversive kind of thing. The Alistair one is, relatively topical, but really visceral.
Mm-hmm.
But this Dean one has the most layers to it because it's clearly a hallucination, but it's also like not that far from what Dean may or may not say to him. Well,
because it's based on his feelings about himself from his brother, which he's heard him say. So it's like a lot of things, or like things that he is assuming he's feeling, which he probably is. So,
well, because Dean has already said, if you weren't my brother, I'd want to hunt you.
He's
already said that like a couple episodes ago or whatever. So
yeah, it's not that crazy. But while this is happening, at the exact same time, the real Dean and Bobby are discussing the situation. And Bobby reluctantly suggests to him that maybe they are killing him.
Yeah. Dean says, we're saving him. And Bobby goes, no, we're killing him. This is not working. He wasn't dying, taking the demon blood. Something was happening to him and it was not great, but it was not dying.
Yeah.
What's happening down there could be.
Yeah, and maybe he would make an even better soldier if he had what he needs. Bobby's really going at it from like, and we know that Bobby loves them, and he's like, look, this is end times. Like, we need all the help we can get.
I think it's smart to have, especially someone they trust like that, someone like Bobby who cares about them like they were his own sons, say something like that, because it does help, I think, remind us of the stakes. I know we've been told 66 Seals, stuff like that, but because of the scope of the show and that, we're always just driving to these like quiet towns in America, quote unquote.
Yeah.
But what we're really talking about is like the end of the world and humanity. So for Bobby to say these things, like it's a nice way to remind us that like this is bigger than personal relationships. It's bigger than anything. He is not wrong to be asking these questions.
No,
He's
absolutely
not wrong for his position either, but it's bad. They have to have this conversation.
But Dean says that he'd rather have Sam die human than turn him into a monster.
Well, yeah, and it's neat that he's saying it in this compassionate way. I don't want him to turn into a monster. Then in the hallucination, Dean, is like, you're a monster now and I'll hunt you. Right. Like, so it's like 100% exactly Dean's perspective. It's like fully confirmed demon blood drinking Sam equals monster to Dean. But in the real world, he's acting on that compassionately. And in the hallucination, he's like, and I'll put you down.
Yeah, exactly. But that night, fucked up thing happens because unbeknownst to Sam, Castiel comes and uses his powers to release Sam's bonds and open the door to the panic room. I do love that he stands literally 5 feet from the door, but uses his powers to open it.
I mean, you're right.
5
It's
feet.
You're right, and it's funny, but that's how I feel about like you and your remote starter thing for your car. Like, just go outside and start your car.
You mean go out into my car and start it?
Yeah.
Are you? That's nowhere near. That's not 5 feet. I have to then put on my boots, open the door,
the
go
thing
out
you were
into the
going to do
cold.
anyway to go outside because you're going to use your car.
Yeah, but I was going to go out there into a warm car.
Oh no, schmuffin.
No, what's worse is when I actually have to use the keys to do it and not from my app on the phone. Because that means I actually have to get up off my desk and go to the window where I can see the car and start it.
It's the exact same thing to me. Because you also like you got to like walk close enough to the car that the app should range.
When I have to do no, I can do the app actually works from anywhere. Sometimes when I'm flying home because I park in the parking lot at the airport, as we're flying in, I start the car.
So the one time during the flight where you really shouldn't be using your phone for anything.
It's fine. That's a myth.
It's not a myth. I ask it for a reason.
Yeah, it's a myth.
It's not a myth.
Write into us and let us know if it's a myth or not.
Yeah. Hashtag it's a myth or hashtag it's not a myth. I won't remember what this conversation was about.
See, I told you that the women don't have those.
Yeah. Teeth are bread.
Yeah. It's not a myth. But yeah, Sam gets to escape, and Castiel then gets a visit from Anna. She confronts him over his actions, saying Sam's actions have been even worse than they thought, and that Dean was rightfully like trying to stop him. Castiel sadly replies that he's acting on orders and tells her that she really shouldn't have come.
Yeah, and 2 other angels show up and grab her. Now, I'm going to do a thing we try not to do here.
Uh-oh.
Which is offer spoilers. But this is because I genuinely do not remember.
Okay.
So other angels grab her, and we cut to a shot of Castiel, and then there's a very blinding white glow that lasts for a while. And then when it disappears, we get a wider shot, and Cass is alone.
Yeah.
Does Anna die here?
I don't think so.
Okay, because
they haven't had that scene.
We never really established that the light equals go to heaven.
Yeah,
like they just do the and they fly away kind of thing, right? Like Uriel, he's like, I'm gonna go check on this thing, and go, and he flies away. But we get this light or whatever, and I was like, and I can't remember if she shows up again. I was like, genuinely, I was like, oh fuck, did they fucking kill her on this pier? But then there's no angel marks like the wing marks like we've had when the other angels died. So I just got very confused. What were we seeing when we see that effect of the light? Because we don't even see like the husk of like Anna's vessel. So it's not like it's her leaving the vessel.
No, it's not. It's she's got a whole other season.
Right. So, but then I just don't know what the light is then. What is happening in that moment?
They're going to heaven, I think.
But like the other angels have gone to heaven, they just like
I don't know. Like theatrics.
I got questions, man.
Oh my God, you just blew this whole thing wide open.
Yeah, I'm gonna take this all the way to the top.
Oh my God, I love it.
Angels don't get smote at that temperature.
Oh my God, you're an angel truther? Oh no. Castiel is troubled by his part in Dean's oath, Sam's escape, and Anna's capture.
Yeah, it's pretty fucked up.
We then go back to a very sick Sam managing to slip out of the house, but just as he's out, he's confronted by Bobby armed with a shotgun, and as he attempts to steal a car from the yard.
Yeah, Bobby's like, don't do it. Go back inside, boy. And Sam, like, he looks super strung out. And he's like, you're not going to shoot me. You're not going to shoot me. And Bobby, of course, is not going to shoot him, which is Bobby's own fault. Like, don't make connections. Don't let people know that how you feel about them. Don't let anybody in. Yeah. And Sam takes the gun and like pistol whips him and knocks him out. Steals a car.
But we then get Bobby waking back up, and he and Dean are trying to figure out how Sam escaped in the first place. They assume it was Ruby, And Dean's like, awesome, because I wanted to fucking kill her anyways.
Yeah.
We then see Sam meeting up with Ruby after making major efforts to throw Dean off his trail, but because Daddy's got a taste for blood and he wants more.
It's funny. They do the thing where it's like Sam steals like a flashy car and stays at a nice hotel because he's
yes.
Like, Dean will know where to look for
Yeah.
me. And Dean goes like, he's trying to lose me. He'll do the opposite of what we normally do.
Yeah.
Like,
which
finds
is
him right away.
not a great, like, yeah, like you got to be like he would think that I know that he knows, so I'll do this.
Yeah, when you're playing that game, there's usually like two more steps
yes.
of it. Yeah.
And maybe the steps are he'll then think that I'll do something that's the usual. So then he's going to think that I'm going to go to the motel. So I'm going to actually stay at the nice place.
Or the step is that he's still at Bobby's. Like,
sure. Yeah.
You know, like, you know, there's something like that. It's just very funny that it kind of works because Sam is obviously desperate. You know, he's smart, but he's working on impulse. He's not working on like intellect. It kind of works that way, but it also really like infantilizes Sam, which I think kind of works in a way.
Well, they're trying to make it like seem like he's having a tryst.
You're being an idiot. You don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah. Like
you don't know what you're doing. I'm here to stop you. And Sam's like, stop treating me like a fucking kid. Like, I think it works, but it's very funny.
For sure. Ruby tells Sam there are only 2 or 3 seals left to be broken.
Yeah, that's fucked.
She says only Lucifer's first.
Nope. Absolutely not. He's not fucking Hellboy.
Yeah. Lucifer's first can break the final seal, and that is Lilith. Sam's like, I'd love to be Lucifer's first.
Listen, anyone's fist, I think, would break that seal. This is too much.
Just too tight. So this renews
Lucifer's fist. Lucifer's fist. He can break the seal.
This renews Sam's desire to kill Lilith. She says she has a lead on a demon close to Lilith. The demon is Lilith's personal chef.
I just want to take a little pause here.
Okay.
To do a little cross-pollination with another thing I'm nerdy about, which is Lord of the Rings.
Oh, okay.
So in this scene where they're talking about Lucifer's first, Ruby gives Ruby gives a little background on demonology that we may have gotten pieces of so far in the show, but it's pretty definitive here, which is that God loves humans more than angels. Lucifer takes exception to that, and as a fuck you to God, he takes some humans and corrupts them and twists their souls until they become the first demons.
Sure.
So, demons are by nature twisted and corrupted.
So
humans.
fucking twisted.
And a thing that I love is that, that's obviously there's an element of that in actual demonology.
Yeah.
But it's also because he's inspired by real religion. It's a very prominent part of Lord of the Rings lore, and what Tolkien wrote in is that's what the orcs are. So the god in Lord of the Rings creates elves and men,
which is a giant lion, right?
And no, that's the lesser. Are you fucking kidding me? You're bringing your C.S. Lewis bullshit in here. Eru Iluvatar, he creates elves and men. He loves them more than he loves the Ainur, like the other kind of angelic beings.
But how does he feel about the half goat boys?
The Dark Lord takes exception to that, and he takes some of the. I'll fucking kill you. He takes some of the first elves and he twists them and corrupts them until they become orcs. And it's that thing where it's like only God can create. So it's like Lucifer couldn't make a new thing. He couldn't make demons, but he could take a thing that existed, people, and corrupt them into something else. So, and it's that thing in literature where like evil can't create; it can only. And that's interesting there. I just like hearing it. I think it's cool. It's not that demons are like another thing. It's tearing down this kind of beautiful thing that makes a demon.
And he corrupts them by giving them some delicious Turkish delights. It's another C.S. Lewis.
What?
It's okay. It's another Lion Witch in the Wardrobe.
Oh, fuck it. You're fucking Prince Caspian ass bullshit up in here.
You don't have half what Atlan has.
Atlan, the first king of Atlantis?
Oh no! What was the king of? What's the lion name? I thought it was Atlan. I thought it was also Yeah, I think it's also Atlan.
Oh, could be. I have no idea.
Yeah, fucking come at me, bitch.
Aslan.
Oh,
Aslan.
you could see how I could make that mistake.
You idiot.
Anyways, we then cut to a scene with two nurses looking for they're
Lucifer's fist, am I right?
I mean, if we're using Lucifer's fist, I wouldn't mind being his first. So we have two nurses looking at a nursery in the hospital.
Yeah, they're discussing how, like, in some other hospital, I guess a nurse just like absconded with babies.
Yeah.
And they were like, that's crazy. She like worked there for like 10 years and then just snaps and does that. That's crazy. And then they're like looking at the nursery and they're like, aren't they just so precious? And the other one goes, they're just delicious.
And then she goes, I want my baby back, baby back, baby back.
In my belly.
Yeah, you would think that other nurse would have figured that out by then, but no, she when she described the babies as finger licking good.
Oh no.
But yeah, her eyes go black, and we realize that that's the chef. We go back with Ruby. Sam is feeling uncomfortable about having to consume much more blood than he usually does, because Ruby's like, look, I'm not going to give you that much blood. Like, we're going to have to figure out another way.
And he already sucked the shit out of her.
No, yeah, he fucking dried her out.
Sorry, sucked the blood out of her.
Yeah, no. Lucifer's fist.
Is it the best delivery system to suck it out of her arm?
I feel like we've talked about this.
Because she's a demon. She can just fucking heal. Like, she can't die from being bled out.
I don't know.
So, like, why not neck, or dare I say thigh? Like,
yeah, what's the
like a
best
major
place?
artery or something? You know what I mean? Like, it feels like there's a faster, better delivery method.
Well, doesn't he go for her thigh or something? Because like, there's that scene where he basically, it looks like he's going like.
But no. He goes down to her. He goes down.
Yeah.
But he just goes to her ankle where she keeps her knife. Takes the knife, brings it up, cuts her arm on the nice white sheets of the fancy hotel he's staying at.
That's what they're for.
Can't take him fucking anywhere because he's used to fucking motels and shit. And he just sucks on her arm. Yeah.
Yeah, because he's a king, and a king doesn't do that.
Oh no. Oh no.
DJ Samed.
Yeah. You know what? Sam doesn't eat pussy. I guarantee you Sam doesn't eat pussy.
Dean 100% does.
Demon Sam? Maybe.
Look, Satan's fist, Dean would.
Yeah. Bobby, 100%.
Oh, yeah. He doesn't even care if he gets any. Why do you think he got the name Bobby?
For
bobbing around down there.
Bobbing for pussy.
I mean, I was trying to like say it without saying it, but yeah. Yeah, that's sort of what I meant, man.
I'm so sorry.
But as Sam and Ruby prepare to go capture Lilith's cohort, Dean arrives. Oh my god. He catches Ruby in the room alone and tries to kill her, but Sam returns in time to stop him.
Yeah. And this is a good moment where Sam is like, we got a lead on Lilith, come with us. Dean's like, great, I'd love that. Let me kill Ruby. Sam's like, no.
He's like, come on.
It's important too that the setup to this scene is Dean is driving there. Bobby is like, remember, the goal here is to get Sam back. He's like, I know you're angry, but like he's kind of saying like, don't be you. Like you have to be accommodating, even though he may not deserve it, or you may not believe that, or whatever. You know, and Dean is kind of half doing it. He's like, great, I'd love to listen to that. I want to help you out. Can I kill this person you obviously won't let me kill?
But there's an interesting moment because this is where Sam goes, he begs Dean to just trust him. He's like, I always trust you all of the time. He's like, why, just for this one time, can you believe that I know what's right? But it's like, dude, angels, everybody knows, everyone knows you're doing the wrong thing.
Yeah. I mean, it's, you know what it makes me think of? We talked about kind of infantilizing Sam a little bit. It makes me think of, you know, like, I'm sure you had these arguments with parents or whatever. I certainly remember having arguments with my parents when I was like 15 or 16, which is like, I'm like, what's the difference between now and 18? Like in 2 years, I'm like an adult anyway. You might as well just trust me now. And then you like look at like, what was it I was doing or whatever.
Oh my
It's
God.
like, of course they didn't / shouldn't.
I just want to go to a concert in Detroit at 1 a.m. in the worst parts of Michigan. I don't understand.
Yeah. Me and a bunch of friends are going to drive up to Old McGregor's Hill and fucking throw bottles at his house.
It's okay. Tyler's had like 7 drinks. He's fine.
They were light beers.
Why don't you trust me?
That's what it made me think of. That's
1000%. The like, God, kids are so stupid.
I know. And then even the idea of like me at 18, you shouldn't have cut me loose. Are you fucking kidding me?
I was just having the conversation the other day where it was just like,
Me at 24.
Thank God I didn't become like a parent when I was like a teenager. Like I was like, I would have been such a, oh my God. I barely trust my opinions now. Like,
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy to think that, I mean, you know me well. It's, imagine the fact that I am the mellowest version of me now.
oh my God.
Essentially, right? Like that's,
I just assumed this was like your like dad like age coming in. I didn't realize this is you mellowing out.
no, I am way more careful and thoughtful and deliberate with what I say and do.
Oh no.
Exactly.
How did you
can't
ever have a
fucking
job?
trust.
Oh my God. Yeah. So yeah, don't believe Sam's. But he begs him to trust him. Dean refuses, eventually telling him that he has no idea what he's doing. The argument gets more heated and bitter until Dean finally tearfully calls Sam a monster.
Yeah.
Sam pauses, then sends Dean halfway across the room with a crushing punch.
We get like a single man tear as well.
Yeah. Who punches a crying person? Jesus.
Yeah. Who throws a shoe?
Honestly, though.
Yeah. Sam, I mean, it's funny. Like, we know, I mean, partly from the Soon thing, but we know where this is going. It's coming to like a brother fight. But it is funny that like it works to have the energy dip a bit and then like ramp up with the punch, but it does kind of go like, I mean, he just, yeah, Dean said something bad, but like, look how upset he is. He just fucking punch him right in the face.
But then Sam's reaction after, like when they show Sam, the acting is real rough.
I gotta say, Jared's like tough acting is
not good.
Ooh, boy,
it's never
like,
strong.
It's like a high school production of someone playing someone bad.
Yes, he's really doing it for the rafters. Like
it's like,
yeah. But we get finally Brother Brawl.
Yeah, 2009 or whatever this was.
It was 2009. A bitter brawl ensues, which ends when Sam overwhelms Dean. Oh my God.
I like that it's not like too long of a fight.
No, it's good. Yeah.
You know, like this could be one of those things where you go like, and then it goes through rooms and up to the roof.
Yes.
Like, I'm glad that it's not. Exactly. I'm glad that it's like a little contained, but we get some like destruction of property, people through something. He throws Dean into a mirror. I thought of Mr. Yamashiro.
Oh no.
Throws him through like that lattice work thing that is just always there.
Yes. They didn't also Jared and Jensen did their own stunts in this scene. They fully did the choreography and did this all themselves.
It looks great. It's a great fight. It looks really good. They really sell it. Sam does win.
Fucking strangles him.
Here's the bit that I like is that he throws Dean down, but then he goes and chokes him, and you're like, oh, that's the demon. Like that's the demon blood. It's like you already won. You could just leave. There's no need for that. But then also there's the weird moment of like, I think it's an acting problem because he stops choking him before Dean passes out. But there's no indication on Sam's face of like, oh, what am I doing? Like, I was waiting for the like, oh my God, what am I doing? Moment. And then he lets go and he goes, I just have to do this. And he leaves. But it doesn't happen. And so I think it's a Jared problem because like that's the only reason that the rest of it makes any sense.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. But as Sam turns to leave, Dean admonishes him with the same words John Winchester used so many years ago, which was, January 6th, we're coming together and we're going to change America for good.
Yeah, we have to stop Antifa.
Yeah, from the words of his father, which is, look, it's fine, just why does it have to be in front of my face?
I'm actually working for AOC's office.
I don't care, but why did they have to do it in public? Just like John Winchester said.
They stole the election. Oh, those Democrats.
From the words of John Winchester. No, he says if Sam leaves, he should never come back.
Yeah.
Sam gives him one last look and then walks out, leaving Dean lying in the ruins of the room.
It's a real Dom and Jacob Toretto moment.
I mean, yeah, it's like, it's not the wrench scene, but it's not far from it.
No, it's the car race scene.
Yeah.
If I win, you keep driving, you never come back. What do you do when you take a Toretto's family away?
All right. That's the end of this episode.
That's the podcast we're doing when Supernatural's done.
There's enough of those.
And there's not a Supernatural rewatch podcast?
No, they needed us.
I mean, obviously. Who else would give you Lucifer's fist?
There was too much wetness and no one thirsty enough to handle it.
That's right, baby. Who else would definitively come in with the canon lore that Bobby Singer eats pussy?
Or with the incredible idea of having a t-shirt that says the man, the path of devastation. A bit of interesting information for this episode as we're walking away here, which is that this is one of the very few episodes that there's no death of any kind in this episode.
Oh, except the death of a relationship.
Death of a brother. Yeah.
My brother died that day. A monster walked out of that room.
Yeah. And the death of the seal when we used Satan's fist.
Yeah, I mean, listen, that seal didn't have a chance. But we have a little bit of time before that seal is broken because Lucifer has to start with one finger and then gradually work his way up.
Yeah, it's
That's
a
our
taper
window.
situation. Yeah. Well, what is your review of this episode?
I like this episode.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a lot of interesting things. I love the kind of the nuance and complexity of some of the interactions, right? We're talking about, the one between Bobby and Dean and asking the tough question about the practicality of the timing of helping Sam.
Yeah.
It's obviously messy. You might have a very clear this is right or this is wrong about it, but it's interesting to see them have to have that conversation. Likewise, in the hallucinations, it's great to see like Sam's fears made manifest, and that subversive like Mary Winchester scene is awesome. Where you think it's going to be this comforting thing, and then she goes like, "No, your brother's weak. You're the only one that could do this." And it's like, "Oh no, that all is great." We have the kind of nuance of Cass finally getting through to Dean, but then his orders from up top are let Sam loose. We're gonna hedge our bets. Like there's a lot going on there. There's like what happens to Anna? Like what's going on there? There's the whole episode is very messy, murky. Ruby, I feel somewhat genuinely expresses the like, it's kind of too bad that like your brother's not on board with this. Like it doesn't, you could chalk it up to being manipulation or whatever, but it doesn't, of all the things, it doesn't feel that insincere. Sam knowing that he's, he has definitive proof that it is a problem, because at the start of the episode he's like, it's fine, I'm not like addicted to this, and he very clearly goes through withdrawal, and then he's like, fuck it. You know what I mean? Like that's tough. They almost have a breakthrough moment. Sam is like, please, just like, if you can trust me, then this can work. And Dean is like, that's the problem. I don't trust you. And it comes to blows and everything. I think this episode does a great job of all of those things. Where the episode falls down a bit for me is some of the specific moments and stuff like that. So, I don't think they supported young Sam enough. They literally stuck him in a room with Jared, where Jared as an actor has all of the power in that scene to be dismissive or like, like that didn't happen or whatever. And this kid has to play both, like, he's not coming at him like hard, but he also has to be kind of manipulative and stuff like that. I feel like they didn't give him the tools. We have this weird like VFX thing with the angels that on a show that is usually like really consistent in its like visual and special effects language. I don't know what it means. I was like, and it like completely threw off my memory of the show. I was like, oh fuck, like what happened here? I think that's a problem. I think Jared's acting really falls down the more he has to up the intensity. He's great in that scene with young Sam because it's a very kind of casual thing where he goes like, that's not how life works. Like he's actually quite good in those moments, and he's good at the start of that final scene with Dean where it's calm and he's like, just listen to me, we gotta lead, blah 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 blah. But like angry Sam acting is like not good. And I think the episode falls down on in some of these things. And what do I give this? I guess I would give this, I think it's still generally pretty good, and it's got some big moments. Jensen really brings it. I guess I'd give this, I'm going to give this 4 teeth sandwiches.
Ugh. Classic teeth sandwiches. With leather as the meat and teeth as the bread.
I don't know what is so hard to grasp.
It's just, I like this less than you, I think.
You know what? I was toying with it. I'm already 3.75. I'm not going lower than that, but it's below a 4. I was being too generous because I wanted to be nice to Jensen, but it's a 3.75.
Yeah. Here's the thing, like it starts strong. For me, the problem with this I have with this episode is that like it feels like, especially with like that intro cut from it, it feels like this episode they were like stretched. They were trying to like fill time. There's a lot of like going back and forth from Bobby and Dean, and a lot of them just like hand wringing and like being like, oh God, I don't know, like blah blah blah, like, or like
3 of those scenes could have been like 2 scenes.
Like Castiel being like the scene of him just like kind of stand like there felt like a lot of like useless scenes, but it's just stuff of just like people like sort of talking about nothing and just like going over like, ooh, drinking blood's bad. It's just like, yeah, we all know where we're at here. Like,
yeah, get to the finale.
I know we were just waiting for the finale. Like, there's not enough action for me. There's one like kind of short fight with the boys. Like, there's just like not enough for me to feel like I like usually like the episode right before the finale is usually a bit of a ramp up in the last 3 seasons, and this feels like a bit flat to me.
I think you're right. Yeah, I mean, especially you think about the setup of like that neighborhood block last season, or you think of the ghost town with all of the chosen kids at season 2.
Meanwhile, it's like this episode, like we're talking about and I get whatever budgetary, but like around the world, they are breaking seals to open Lucifer's fucking cage, and the thing that we're focusing on is like Sam's a drug addiction. Like I just am like a cooler story is happening, and we're not seeing it, and I'm like, come on.
It feels like maybe this should have been going on for a longer period of time.
Yeah.
And then you have him get, Cass lets him out, and
sure, like
you still have the blow up in that, but it does feel like they only just found out about, like, Dean only saw it happen like 2 weeks ago.
Exactly. Like it feels a bit clunky to me, and like sort of a half step in order to get to the finale, because you just had to get 22 episodes. Like, and it feels, and from everything I've heard from behind the scenes, it feels like due to scheduling stuff, it was sort of just like thrown on Sarah, and they just sort of like were way to accomplish a few things. And I think I'm in the same boat as you. I'm gonna give this 3.75 fists of Lucifer.
Oh, hell yeah.
Which all feel great, but just not enough to fully satisfy.
I know. Sorry, that's not enough to. It's not just one fist. You got 3.75 fists.
Look, it's not. I'm not Satan's first.
Wow. Oh no.
I may be the only, but I'm not the first.
Good Lord.
All right. That is our review for the episode right before the finale. Holy shit.
I can't believe season 4 finale next week.
God, we were just blasting through this series. Like, we're going to be done
there's
in no
like
time.
barely any supernatural left.
Not 10 more seasons. Not 2 full other series to go through.
I know, really.
Well, that is our reviews, but before we finish, we've got a note from a fellow hunter.
Ooh, very nice.
This one says, hey guys, some notes and questions to ponder on the podcast. Number 1, why does Jimmy go with Castiel when he pops up and down from heaven? Wouldn't it make more sense that the vessel would be somewhere safe waiting for Castiel to come back? I mean, he's inhabiting a corporeal being. How could something flesh and blood like that go to such a spiritual place as heaven? And for that matter, why do the angels talk to each other through their vessels?
I mean, listen. All very good points, but if you thought it was confusing now, just wait until we get into later seasons where flesh and blood people are not hosts for things also go to supernatural realms, also where supernatural beings whose vessels have been destroyed show up with physical vessels. Listen, you are right, and this show kind of goes, yep.
Don't worry about it. This is sort of the one thing they don't really ever address.
They kind of do address it, but not like fully.
Yeah.
Like there are literal story points that will talk about the difference between the cast we see now and a character we see later or something like that. But it's pretty murky. But yes, you're absolutely right to bring that up.
Totally. Number 2, I think you're being persnickety when you say Azazel should have been more specific when he said he'd be back in 10 years to poison Sam with demon blood. I mean, I don't say I'm getting married in 1 year and 6 months. I just say I'm getting married next year. I think he meant approximately 10 years specifically, especially given the unpredictability of when a child is born.
I somewhat agree, but the demons themselves are the ones who are like, this is a contract. And contracts
Sure.
famously specific.
I mean, that's true. Yeah, yeah. Especially like because whenever you like suddenly have a loophole, that's when you can really get out because they're very strict about their contracts.
Well, that's just it. You know, it's sealed with a kiss. That's your signature. It's like an actual contract.
Yeah.
Wait, do you sign contracts without details?
Oh no.
No.
I need maybe send us some of your paperwork. I'd like to review it. Actually, I've got a contract for you to sign. Never mind. And their final point, does Castiel shower? And for that matter, what about Castiel's personal hygiene? I bet he must have BO.
Oh, God, I hope so.
I sort of treat it... Wow, what the fuck? I hope he fucking stinks of 1,000 dirty angels.
Hope that trench coat seals in the flavor.
Oh my god! I assume it's the same way that he can like heal things really easily. He's just like he like does a and like is fine all the time.
You know, and angels can make people forget things or like change their memories and stuff. They could just be like, without actually enacting any physical change, they could be like, and now you imagine it's lavender. They can just like,
Sure, fair. To waste their time constantly on that. I don't want someone to think I'm stinky.
I would be a vain angel, I think.
Yeah. Vain angel, vain angel. Won't
smelling
you?
like roses.
Regardless, though, I love the podcast. You're both very funny. Keep on trucking from Gene in Cork, Ireland.
Whoa, all the way from Ireland.
I know.
Holy shit.
Say hi to Bruno.
Yeah, and oh no, never mind. I was gonna our first Hunter Ween thing was Scottish. It wasn't Irish.
Oh, curious, how many pieces of gold pressed latinum do you have to pay to subscribe to this podcast? It's Cork, Ireland.
I am furious. How dare you?
Cork, Ireland.
Irish human. Yeah. Do you ever make the road trip up to Dublin?
Dublin.
The 23rd rule of acquisition.
Nice.
Amazing.
Well, that is the end of this episode. If you want to continue the discussion about Supernatural online, you can join our Patreon and talk on our Discord.
That's right. Patreon.com/Ghostfacers. It's $1 a month and it gives you access to Angel Radio, our Discord server. We're having a fun time over there. We're chatting stuff. People were getting excited about Walker and the boys and like the other stuff.
People are getting excited about
to.
Walker?
Well, some people are. And also we knew what Jensen was up to. We knew what Jared was up to, but now also Misha has been cast as Two-Face in that Gotham Knights show that the CW's developing.
When worlds collide.
Get Castiel as Two-Face.
Oh my God.
I don't think I can handle it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it helps support us. It's a lot of fun. So yeah.
Subscribe to that, and that is it for this week. If you have a note for a future episode or something that's already happened, much like Gene here, you can send us an email to ghostfacerspodcast@gmail.com. Or what?
Oh, what? I'm just fucking chopped liver over here? You're not going to throw to me?
Or reach out to us through our social media platforms. Just do it. Jesus Christ.
Oh, am I important now?
I mean, I can. It's
At
okay. Fine.
Ghostfacers Pod on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You piece of shit.
So petty about the little bits.
I've got a sandwich segment for you. A knuckle sandwich.
Oh my God, Satan's fist. Don't forget to subscribe so that you can get our episode in your feed every single week. Please give us a 5-star review when you're on that platform, and we'll read it on the show. If it's not on Apple iTunes or Apple Podcast or whatever it is now, because I'm old.
You're doing great. You don't need me.
No, I got this all on my own. Just send us a pic, and we'll read it on the episode.
Creepy, weird.
Just DM me a pic. That's all. Whatever you choose.
And
how bad do you want to get
I want to
that
know,
review
what
read?
do you think Castiel smells like?
Also, if you want to get the man,
the path of
devastation t-shirt, subscribe or visit our store, ghostfacerspodcaststore.com.
Please make that shirt and put it up there. That's too funny.
I might need to. I might do a front and a back one. That's like,
yeah, I like it.
Also, if you like what we got going on here, you might like the Two-Face talk that we're going to go do on our other podcast, Dr. DC.
That's right. The Dr. DC podcast. We talk about DC Comics. We answer listener questions. April is our prescribed reading month, where Richard has chosen specific comics that we're going to read and talk about, and that's always kind of fun. But you don't need to know anything about comic books or superheroes. It's just a fun way for us to talk about different kinds of lore, basically.
That's right. All right. That's it for this week. Say goodbye, bitch.
Jerk.
This was a Brain Freeze podcast.